What's up, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Viking Vibes, the St. Joseph by the Sea High School experience, an exclusive podcast and web series dedicated to all things St. Joseph by the Sea High School. Today we have a very special episode. We are joined by none other than board member of St. Joseph by the Sea for the last 20 years, also the current chairman of the board for over 10 years, and most importantly, the winner of St. Joseph by the Sea's highest award, the Founders Award, which he'll be receiving this year at the St. Joseph by the Sea Annual Dinner and Gala, which will be presented on April 18th at the historic Old Bermuda Inn. Here today with us, we have Mr. Damon Testaverde.
Thank you
Mr. T, how are you?
Thank you, Anthony, for having me. It's terrific. And I was so honored to get the award. I tell you, when Father Riley announced that I was getting the award, I was a little, I didn't know how to react. The initial reaction is, I feel I should be honoring them. They shouldn't be honoring me.
Well, it's because you're a modest guy.
No, it's not that. It's that this part of my life, being able to help with the growth of St. Joseph by the Sea and what we do for kids and so forth. It's something that gives you a purpose. It gives a life a fine, positive purpose, and that's the reason I'm involved.
I'm so happy to have you here because you are one of the most passionate people, and I'm going to give Sal Dragna a shout out. One of the most passionate people outside of our good friend Sal Dragna when it comes to all things St. Joe's. Yeah. So before we get into the passion about St. Joe's, the stuff that they're doing, let's talk a little bit about you at the beginning of the segment. So tell us a little about where you grew up, what you did, business, personal life.
I'm a Brooklyn kid, originally born in Bay Ridge, Brooklyn. I got married when I was very young and started on Wall Street in 1966. So you can imagine I've been in the finance business for a long time.
A lot of wisdom.
A lot of wisdom, a lot of ups and downs, a lot of challenges and so forth. It's been very rewarding to me. I enjoy it. That's why I'm still working. And so it's a wonderful thing. But you need, in life, you have to have different parts of your life. And the one thing about it is that when you're working on, especially on Wall Street, it's a type of environment that it's very competitive and dog eat dog, and it's all about making the next buck.
And yet you're so calm and reserved.
Yeah. Sometimes it is.
At least for the purposes of the show.
For the show, I'll bet. So I looked for things to do. There has to be different parts of your life. I have a great family life, thank God. I've been very lucky. That's the biggest success I have is my family. But I was looking for something else, and I found a couple of things. One is basketball.
I was going to say, we're going to get into that because anyone on Staten Island who has a child or even has ever touched the basketball knows the Testaverde name.
Thanks, Anthony. Yeah, I ran a Lady Star Seas athletic program for a few years, and then I started coaching basketball, and I coached over 30 years for CYO. And I coached what would today be called an AAU program, but it was called the Rising Stars. Right. So I went down to Cromwell Center and during the summertime and coached those kids. And so there are hundreds of kids on Staten Island that call me coach. Yeah. And it's a nice feeling. But in that relationship, I started to really understand that putting the time in with children was a big reward for me, made me feel better. Right. Made me feel that this was something I could do, I was good at. And I understood what the value is of being with young women and young men to bring the good things out in them and show them an example.
Mentorship at its finest, almost.
Yeah,
right?
Mentorship. Yeah, I think that showing up is a big deal.
Right.
So someone showing up that cares and listen. I'm very competitive. I wanted to win. Right. But I didn't want to win for the sake of winning. I just think competition is a good lesson. Competitive sports is a good lesson. But the main lesson is much bigger than that. It has to be kids learning how to work hard, deal with a team member, maybe deal with a coach that's not so good and figure it out. Happens. And it's good life lessons. But if you put the children first and not the win and loss first, it's very rewarding. It's been very rewarding.
So now talk about the progression from being a coach for 30 years to then everyone in your family going and being a graduate of St. Joe's. And now you're going to correct me if I'm wrong, but 6 or 7 some odd grandchildren, great-grandchildren who have gone through the doors?
Yeah, I think totally there's 13.
Wow.
And I always say to Sally Dragna that him and his brother Nick are my sons too. So
there you go.
They went to you too, but they count. Yeah, so I have 4 sons, 3 went through St. Joseph by the Sea. I have 12 grandchildren. 6 or 7 have gone through, and I got 2 in there now. I have a freshman, Alexis, and I have a junior, Paul. One of the reasons I got involved originally when Monsignor Insaldi asked me to be involved, one of the reasons I got involved was, wow, this is a way I can be connected to the kids too and really help in a different way. And my family, like everybody believes, I believe in my
Right.
family, and I wanted to help. And if I can make things good for them and a place to grow up for them, and then, but when you get involved, you learn that all the kids there become your family.
Right.
So now, you know, when I walk through the halls of St. Joseph by
I was
the
just going to
Sea,
say, the other day,
yeah.
we were walking through the halls the other day, and there was 5 or 6 kids. Coach, what's up, Coach? How are you? It's great.
It's a great feeling. Yeah, my wife laughs because if we go out to dinner somewhere, or someone comes
forget
over,
it, yeah.
someone comes over to me, and that's a great feeling. But that's rewarding, and it's more than the job experience. I've done well in my career, but money isn't everything. My father used to tell me you can't tip St. Peter for a better table.
I like that.
Yeah, you know,
I never heard that one.
But the effort that we're putting in to make St. Joe's what it is important to me. You know?
So this might be a difficult question, but you can give me a high-level answer, if you will. You've been involved for many years on the board, and then 10 plus as chairman of the board. Talk about some of the high-level things that have happened, because as we know, but people who are listening and watching may not know, how the school is always evolving, always upgrading, always, whether it's increasing with capital projects, whether it's increasing the curriculum. So just talk about some of the highlights since you've been there, that you've been a part of.
Let me start right from the beginning, if
Go
you
ahead,
will,
of
Anthony.
course.
Okay, I'm really going to take you back to 1909.
Go ahead.
But what's been very interesting to me is today is St. Joseph's Day.
Yes.
And we're here talking about St. Joseph by the Sea. The Sisters of Charity started St. Joseph by the Sea, as you know, and they met a gentleman called Charles Schwab.
Someone, they may have heard of him. People may have heard of him.
Yeah. And he was a CEO of Bethlehem Steel, and he donated his summer mansion to the Sisters of Charity. And their first night at home, they found a baby on the doorstep with a note. The note said, "Please name him Joseph. St. Joseph's Day. My mom is Josephine."
Okay.
You know, and then the Sisters of Charity started an all-girls school, as you remember. Staten Island was still very young, still growing. The school was having difficulty, and Monsignor Gaffney took over, made it co-ed, saved it, really.
Right.
And,
Great decision.
Great decision. We were blessed to have Monsignor Ansaldi take over.
Yeah, great guy.
And great guy, and he did wonderful things to the school. He made it a family. He put, first of all, you knew this was a Catholic school. There was absolutely no doubt about it. And you knew that education was important and the kids were going to behave and
Yeah.
grow up to be good people. And he created a family value and so forth. And then we were lucky enough to get Father Riley, because it was a time when the world is changing and we had to change. So Father Riley said, we have to have the best technology. And we were the first.
Yep.
In almost everything, you know? So and then we brought robotics into it, and song, you name it, we have it. Ansaldi started the sports program and built all of the back.
I remember I was one of the first guinea pigs of the football program, like year 4.
yeah.
We were like the second team or second squad that made it through.
Yeah.
It's come a long way now.
Come a long way
Yeah.
now. Monsignor Ansaldi started it, but then Father O'Reilly realized that he has a thing he tells me. He says that we have the best parents and the best kids, and they deserve the best. And if we could do it, we have to bring the best to them. And so we started to put money in to different programs. And the first programs we put money into were the academic programs.
Right.
We made advances. If you walk through the school, it's going to look like a major
Something in
college
Manhattan,
campus. But we made it that the technology was the newest, so the kids could learn and go to college with many credits in many different ways, but also that they had the foundation to learn. And then we started on after we got a good start on that, we started on baseball field and football field.
Lights and turf.
archery program that just won 10 years in a row. It's won, Bobby Neville started an archery program that's won 10 years in a row. It's just lacrosse, girls football, girls flag football, our football teams, our baseball teams. We just put in a major batting cage program. Why? Because we want a rounded student.
Absolutely.
We want a person that has get the experience for everything and challenge them. What I believe is that if you expect the best and challenge the best, the kids rise up to it.
Yeah. And we had, just because you mentioned sports, so we had the AD, we had Rich Bruno on here, we had the Associate AD, Tyler Young, we had Tressa Baptiste, the new football coach on. Right. And one of the things that we all agreed on and said is that C always gets the highest ranks and is among and held in the highest regards when it comes to academics. But there are times where it gets the short end of the stick when it comes to sports and athletics, but yet every year, to your point of 10 years in a row winning an archery championship, every year our kids are in competitive sports. They're in finals. They're in playoffs. They're competing at high levels. So that's something that I always mention it because I want to shed light on that, because it's not just, yeah, you're going to go there and you're going to get 50 college credits. You're going to do that if you want to, but you're also going to be a part of a championship football team or a championship baseball team. The fact that you highlighted that, I like that because there's always
academics and sport got together.
Yeah, it's the same thing.
The kids at he's the president of the class is also on the basketball team.
How it should
right?
be.
And it's how it should be. So our kids they're competing in everything. They're competing in academics.
Right.
When those honor rolls come up and they post them up on the board, our kids run around like they just made the Olympic team. Yeah. They're fighting over, I got a better mark than you, and that teacher didn't give me my right mark. Yeah. It's hysterical. It's like the football lineup is coming out and did I make the team?
Yeah, right.
These kids,
waiting to see.
They're competing on academic level and they're competing on a sports level. And that's connected. It's what I said before about basketball, that it wasn't just about basketball. What I learned is that the things you can learn in a basketball, when you win, when you lose, sports doesn't develop character. It exposes character.
Right.
And so if you could learn what attributes you have to work on if you're honest with yourself and so forth, these competitive things, including academics, do that. Makes your life easier to handle its ups and downs. On St. Joseph Day, I just wanted to finish the thought that when you leave the school, there's a statue of St. Joseph, a beautiful statue. And I think that he still watches over the kids as they come in every day. He was there at the first opening. Yeah. And he's there now. And I think he's not going anywhere. And I think that's a pretty powerful thing. We have a mission statement we have in the school, and the first 3 lines is we are Catholic. And we are Catholic. We're all Catholic. Right. Probably the only one in the Archdiocese and one of the very few schools in the country that could still say we're all Catholic.
And it's important because that's what it is.
You need a moral compass in life. I'm so proud of the fact that we have 50 kids a year receiving confirmation at St. Joseph by the Sea.
I think next week they have a ceremony they were talking about.
It's unbelievable. You know, what we'd be able to. We have programs that make the kids better and want them to have fun.
Right.
You know?
I always say that. It's got to be fun, too. You got to learn something, but you got to enjoy it while you're doing it.
You got to be the kids have to have fun. You have to. And the school, and I think what we've done is, as we've improved, the Catholic schools around us have improved.
Yes.
And that's a good thing.
Because you raise the bar all around.
That's right. Competition's a good thing.
Yep.
I think that's happened. And in the environment where I guess the TAC test is down 30% from when I started.
Number of kids, we know this, right? The number of kids who are taking it.
It's just much less. We're getting a terrific number. Our numbers are up, right? Almost at the same as at the top. Right. And I think that's because people know what's gone on at the school and the type of people that are there. And by the way, the Board of Trustees is 17 people besides me, and everybody has a little bit to offer, and that's pretty good.
Yeah, right. Well, everybody's contributing to make it grow. Yeah. Just to go back to one of the things you said, because it's one of the things that Father Riley says that we put in literature, and I say all the time that, to your point, is if you give the kids the key to success or give them what they deserve, they will embrace it, as you said, and they will grow. It's an environment engineered for success. So for anyone who's listening or watching who hasn't walked the halls, I encourage you to look up some videos and visit the website. But there are ornate decor. There is art, there are paintings, there are charging stations, and it's not like another high school where you walk in and you got rips in the seats and you have pen on the walls. And the kids treat the environment with the respect that Father gives them because he says, you guys deserve it, and they, in return, treat it well, which is something, even the new addition, the atrium in the cafeteria.
That's right.
When you look at that, who would think that there's going to be high school kids eating lunch in what looks like something out of a movie or a dining hall in Manhattan in the Hilton? Yeah. But yet the kids treat it with respect, they value it, and they realize where they are, which in turn makes them better students and well-rounded individuals, to your point.
One thing I would like to state is that St. Joseph's is demanding about the academics.
As it should be.
And you get little Johnny wants to go to XYZ, or little Mary wants to go to XYZ, and they're great basketball players, they're great football players. And everybody thinks they're going to the NBA, everybody thinks
everybody I'm still going to be in the NFL.
I'm going to play center field for the Yankees. But,
exactly.
But I can't walk, but I could do that. But what I found at St. Joseph by the Sea, and I think the parents and the kids get maybe, it's going to be hard for me. It's not true. The average student does exceedingly well. The only thing St. Joe's is doing is challenging you to do your best. You go in there, and all of a sudden, just like you're trying to hit a jump shot or hit a baseball, you're trying to get a 90 because the guy next to you is getting a 90, and you're smart as he is, it's that environment, what you said. So there's a balance. We have to make sure that the kids are having fun and that they want to come to school and
Which
so
they
forth.
are.
But they do.
Right.
And the other thing, so the first thing is we have our moral compass. We say prayers two times a day.
Right.
The prayers have been banned from public schools, right? We have a moral compass. We believe the parents are the head of the child's moral. But we have a philosophy that their parents adhere to and believe in.
Right.
So we're all on the same page. If little Johnny or Mary has a problem, we're calling mommy and daddy. It's our duty. It's our responsibility to do that. And we're helping them to help their child. But this is their child. And very important. And so that's different. And then the last thing that we talk about, we always say it's God, family, and country. Country, they're changing we're rewriting history.
Yeah.
You know, universities are just rewriting the history and come up with the decisions that they want.
That's a different podcast, I think. No.
I know, yeah. But we have the American Lounge, and we have statues of our founders and portraits of our founders, and we're proud of the fact that we're American. So I think we're a little bit of an anachronism. We're a little bit of a school that has the basic philosophies of how to be successful.
Right.
If we're going to do that, we have to be on our game. We have to, if the science changes, we got to change with it.
Yep.
If the math changes, recently we did away with the regions.
I'm glad you mentioned it because I was going to bring that up. Yeah.
Yeah, we did away with it. Was a lot, but it's two things about that. The first thing about it, I don't really realize it, but it's a financial challenge for a school to give up the region because you get paid.
I had no idea.
Okay, you get paid for doing the regions.
There you go. Okay. You heard it here first on Viking Vibes.
So when you give up the regions, you lose that money.
Okay.
But we looked at the academics, and first of all, the schools aren't using the regions anymore.
That's the biggest thing, right?
That's the biggest thing. But it also, we're teaching the kids to a test.
Right.
Half the school is learning how to take your regions so you get through geometry, which is hard. And that's not education. Education isn't teaching a kid to take a test. Education has to be broad, it has to be defined, and it has to be challenging. I guess taking a test is challenging, but it's not the right, and those tests were getting dumbed down as the years went on because they have to, the schools were being graded on the fact of how they do. And
they always got that sliding rule that everyone forgets about.
Yeah. So if the schools are all failing, then the test gets reduced.
Right.
Challenge on the test gets reduced. We said, listen, again, thank God we're in the position where we could do it. We work hard to keep our finances straight and spend money on what we think is important. The decision to get rid of the regions and to bring in a team of academics to help us design a program for the kids to educate is a big challenge.
Yeah.
It's
working.
It's working.
Right. Yeah.
Most things in life are really pretty simple. Yeah, I think we make things difficult. That's sometimes not so difficult. It's not taking it. Look, we have the TAC test to get into school.
Correct.
Right? I wish we could come up with a different way to do it.
I know. You always say that. Yeah.
And we do. We wish we could come up with a different way to do it. One of the problems is that the kids are coming from older schools, and one school may be great at academics, one school may be not so good at academics, but everybody's got 90s. Is it a 90 student? Is it a 90 student?
Right.
We don't want to bring a kid in and say it's so challenging for them that this is going to be a problem.
Right.
We want to be able to bring in the kids that can, as I said, it could be an average kid. There's absolutely no question in my mind about that, but that can do it. And until we find a new, and I'm thinking about it all the time. We interview, we talk to the principals, we have, we visit the schools.
Yep.
Go
recruiting.
We go recruiting, and we're going to Brooklyn to try to get kids, and we want to make an effort to reach out to all children. We want this school to be for all kids. There's so many facets to running a school, and Riley's really good at it, by the way. But there's so many facets to running a school that,
And people don't realize that. So you touched on two things that I'm glad you did because it gives me a perfect segue. You touched on the tax test and you touched on finances. So I want to bring this together because I want to highlight something that you're passionate about. So in addition to the volunteering of time and effort and all the things that you do, you're also very philanthropic in nature. Matter of fact, you started what's called the Chairman's Club.
Yeah.
And you say time and time again, you say it publicly, you've said it at orientations, you've said it at open houses, that St. Joe's is not going to say no to a kid based on affordability. And that's important. So talk about that. Talk about the program. Talk about how you're involved in doing that and the Chairman Club.
Anthony, I'm not sure I could prove this yet, but I have feelings.
Here we go.
When I look at numbers, I have feelings, right? And because I looked at numbers my whole life. When I look at the reason for the TAC test being down, it's not just the demographics are changing on Staten Island. It can't be. It grew
Not that
because
drastically.
Yeah, but they are changing. Obviously,
Yeah.
that's definitely part of it. I think it's the cost
Right.
of education in Catholic school system. A lot of parents can't afford. We're the
Agreed.
cheapest school on the island, I think.
But still,
But
it's
still, if your tuition's 10, you got to make 20. And if you got 2 kids,
yeah, I forgot.
and they're going to college next year,
Even with the
so-
sibling discount, it's
even
still
we've
it's
got a
more than
sibling
free.
discount. It's
Right.
more than, yeah, that's right. And then we give out tuitions based on academic achievements and so forth. We give out tuitions a lot, more than people realize we do. Some full, some partial, because we recognize that. And if, God forbid, a parent has a problem with their kid, that father passes away or something happens, we take care of our own. There are a lot of children that aren't taking the TAC test, in my opinion, because mommy and daddy are saying, don't take the test, I can't afford it.
Yeah, you can't disagree with those parents,
No,
unfortunately.
of course
Yeah.
not.
And
they're Catholic, they're practicing Catholics. The kid has all the wherewithal to be successful at St. Joe's and so forth, but there's a lot of people that just can't. And part of our responsibility is to help that, to help
Right.
bring it in. When we do that, and that's the Chairman's Club or the
Pillar Fund,
Pillar
yeah,
Fund, either way. But when we do that, when we bring those children in, first of all, the parents are interviewed and the kids are interviewed. Make sure that everybody understands what's going on. Make sure that the need is truly
Legitimate,
a
of
need.
course.
And we want diversity in the school too. We want to bring in all kinds of kids because that's how it's not only great for those kids, which is wonderful, but it's great for our kids. They want to be exposed to everybody in life in general. And you want to be exposed to. I remember when I coached in Cromwell Center.
Okay.
I brought the kids from Farrell and the kids from St. Joe's and the kid from Moore to play with the kids down on the other side. And to me, it was a great experience for everybody. Both sides got to know each other.
Right.
And it's important. It's an important thing. So one of the directions we have is to keep trying to build that diversity up and keep trying to help as many as we possibly can. And that's the reason for the fundraiser. That's the reason for the dinner. If you could come to the dinner, come to the dinner.
Right.
Buy a ticket.
Yeah, so now that was good. You're good at this game. I don't even have to do much. I could just sit here and nod. So now the segue is going to be, let's talk a little bit about the dinner, talk about the award. Before we do that, I also want to shout out this year's co-honorees alongside
please
you.
do.
So we have Miss Karen Moog and Mr. Thomas McGuire, both class of 79. They are being recognized as this year's distinguished alumni winners.
Right.
And then we have Mr. Jake Cienciata, who is the teacher of excellence from the student faculty over at St. Joe's. And then, of course, the Founders Award, the highest award. So talk a little bit about what that means. And
For Karen and Thomas
Yes.
represent the best of our alumni.
Totally agree.
Totally agree.
And I would go so far as to say on the record that St. Joe's may have fallen by the wayside without Karen Moog.
That's right.
It's a huge loss that she's not there anymore.
That's right. What's wonderful about it, because it's for the students, this is Students Award Night, so Honor Students Award Night. But for them to look at people up, that these are some people of the alumni of the school is great representation. This is what you should aspire to, these two. And
to the kids, not to interrupt you, but then we also have, to your point, over 25 students of excellence. Now, those students every year for the last 10 years after Father instituted this, these kids are picked because they represent the best of the best. And unfortunately, and you'll hear it first, whoever's listening and watching, we always get a phone call or an email because, listen, parents are wondering, why wasn't my son picked? Why wasn't my daughter picked? But the truth of the matter is that it's a completely, and I don't want to say arbitrary, but it's unbiased. That's a better word, because there are members of the faculty that are asked, hey, very simply, not who has 101 average, not who can run the fastest mile, not who's the captain of the football team, but who do you think represents the most well-rounded student? Give me this many girls, this many boys. And then all those lists are compiled, and it's very simple. It's, okay, Rapp got 1 check, Mr. Testaverde got 12. We're going to put Mr. T in this column, and so forth. So it's completely based on the kids exhibiting what it means to be a well-rounded student. So those students will be there as well.
it's a very important point you just made, because it's not just academics.
Absolutely not.
And that's the important thing, because doing well in life and succeeding in life doesn't necessarily mean you were the best student.
Correct.
We're looking for a person that cares and is a good student too. And so that's great. The teacher that we're doing. All I could say is that 2 of my grandchildren have had him, and they love this class.
There you go.
They thought it was challenging. They think he's a terrific guy. He was a great teacher. I haven't met him yet. I really look forward to meeting him. So again, very well deserving. So if anyone hasn't gone to one of those nights, the main reason you go is to see St. Joseph by the Sea in action.
Right.
That's the main reason.
See what it produces.
Just see what it's about. Just get a feel for it. As we're not going out and raising money to build a new batting cage.
Right.
We don't
and
do
most
that.
people, we don't really talk about this, but I'm glad you brought it up. So we can bring light on that. Go ahead.
Yeah, we don't raise money for. We have a new auditorium in there, and the theater program is terrific. You name it, we're trying to give the best to these children. So we don't do that. We do it we manage our company, St. Joseph by the Sea.
That's fair enough.
We manage our finances at St. Joseph. We've been blessed with, when this is a charity, there was land there at the beginning and so forth. But that had to be handled correctly. And so when we want to do something, we don't call up the Archdiocese and ask for money.
Or you don't call up the parents and ask for
we don't raise money. We're not saying we want to do the new hallway for the food. What do you call it?
The dining hall.
The dining hall. We just said we want a dining hall. We should do that.
And you go away over the summer break. You come back and it's a new building.
And we did it. But what we do want money for, so we're taking care of that on our own. Please God, we still continue to be able to do. But what I want to help for, and is what it's in for, is for tuitions for people that should be coming. That we're raising money for. I think that's a wonderful thing to do. Listen, if you want your child to be well-rounded, then you got to teach them that they have to care for others that may not be in the same position.
Right.
And by people supporting the new groups coming in, the new students that will be coming in on tuition, that's teaching your kids the right lesson. That's a big event. That's a big advantage. And that's an important part of St. Joseph by the Sea. We had problems with the roof.
Okay, I don't even know. Go ahead.
All right. So the roof is leaked because the actual building is old.
Yeah.
So when it rained, it was raining on the basketball court and it's all right. You got to. Do you know what it is to fix a roof today? Oh my
I have no
God.
idea. Everything's expensive.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
To try and fix a house's
Yeah,
roof.
that's what I was gonna say. I know what that costs. That's bad. Yeah.
They used to be $2,000, $3,000, $20,000 to fix a roof on a little house.
Yep.
And so you can imagine our roof.
Yeah.
But if we have rain in the roof, we fix it. We don't call the parents and say we need money for rain on. We got rain in the basketball court. It's tough to play with umbrellas.
Yeah.
We do it. We don't. Thank God. We've been able to do it. But we've picked out this area that we want to make sure this school is doing everything for the community, and that helps all of us. And so that's what that night's going to be.
Yeah, and that night, just to be clear, April 18th, it's going to be Old Bermuda Inn. Anyone who's listening or watching right now, go to josephc.org. You can purchase tickets, purchase sponsorship, purchase ads, whatever you're interested in. You can just make a regular donation if you want. But all the proceeds, to your point, from that night's event go to what Mr. Consolmagno oversees. Mike Consolmagno, he oversees the Pillar Fund. And the Pillar Fund is basically the conduit through which the money that's raised gets distributed to the kids who need it most. And that's what the night's all about.
That's what the night's all about. Yeah. And honoring the kids.
Of course.
Yeah.
Yes.
And
of course. And honoring you.
Yeah. I appreciate that so much. What my role has been in the school is to try and promote the school and promote what I believe is what's right for kids today and education for today's and the moral aspect of it, who we are. It's so desperate for that today. We are so desperate today. When our kids graduate, I feel like we're sending little soldiers out to the war of,
it's unfortunate, but you're right.
little philosophy. And when they go to war, they carry a gun. But here, our kids are carrying an education, and that's the strongest weapon you could possibly have. So I'm hoping that they're ready for what's ahead.
To your point with preparedness, the other day, last week, we had Sal Agro. Now, he's the newest West Point inductee, which was amazing. And now it was ironic because we had just spoken with Matt Caldwell, who was C's first, enrolled in West Point. And that was, I'm old. I don't know how old. I think he was 98 maybe or 90, many years ago. But now C is continuing to produce these top quality, top caliber kids that are going on to these major universities and institutions, to your point. And not everybody can say that, in all honesty.
I also am a fan of co-ed education.
Because the world is co-ed, right? That's always my answer.
When we first got involved with St. Joe's, obviously I have 4 sons, so they could have gone to all boys school and so forth. The decision I made, and it's so true today, it wasn't as true back then. My sons are your age, that older.
We worked together. I worked together with your son. Yeah.
Men and women are truly friends today.
Yeah.
Men and women compete on an equal basis for everything in life. if they do that when they're young and they understand the relationship and so forth, it strengthens their ability to go on to have good long-term relationships with men and men with women.
Yeah.
I really do think so. One thing I know to you, my sons have friends that they're all married. Thank God I have 12 12 children and 3 great-grandchildren now. Women that have been their friends since St. Joseph by the Sea. And they're friends. And they go out and they talk. And that's so important. And when you get on a job and you walk into your first job and your boss is a woman, which is what's going to be today.
Right.
It's nice to have that relationship and learn how to deal and so forth. I think it's important. I think it's part of education.
It is.
I want diversity in background of people.
Right.
I want diversity in
life.
In life, So I'm a proponent. I've always been.
It's not going to college and being like, "What's this?
Yeah.
I don't know how to do this. I don't know how to interact or socialize." Or
That's
something as simple as I had friends that went to Farrell. Nothing against Farrell, but I remember I'd get dressed. I'd be going to school, and I'd meet my friend after school who was coming home from Farrell and that didn't even brush their teeth or comb their hair.
Yeah.
He's like, they didn't have to. What do I care? I'm like, all right, but it's just a different way of preparing and getting yourself ready to do stuff.
And look, there are great schools for just girls and great school. Farrell's a good school for boys.
We always say that. So we'll make it clear. So we always say that any Catholic education on Staten Island is great as long as you're making that choice.
And a lot of the public schools are very good. Very good. We're very lucky. But public schools are good too. I'm just saying that to me, the co-ed feature was, I got to tell you, I'm a basketball nut. We've already established that. Our girls' basketball team?
Phenomenal.
Oh, my God. They go up to AA, and they're beating Christ the King. They won the championship in AA in their first year. These kids watch them play in the game being played.
Right.
And they're just incredible, and I'm so proud of that we have been able to develop programs. We have programs for girls for everything. You name it, we got it. Lacrosse, flag football, softball, you name it, we got it. Everything a boy has, a girl has.
And then, of course, you got the cheerleaders who go to Disney every year and winning all these national titles.
Yeah.
I mean,
I got a freshman on the cheerleader team, Alexis.
So you know.
Greg's little girl is on the cheerleading team. Yeah, and the camaraderie you build in that sport with those people you're going to have for the rest of your life. To me, that was an important part of St. Joe's. That I thought that all of these men and women deserve the same. Men and women deserve the same challenges. Men and women, and unfortunately, the women are starting to beat us pretty good.
Yeah, well, it's okay. It's all right.
But it's part of it. And let me just say that overwhelmingly, what we are is a Catholic school. And I think because of economics, because of demographics, there are a lot of schools in this nation that say Saint somebody, but they're not Catholic. In the end, the Catholicism part of it is, we're a Catholic school. We have a set of values that we believe in. I often hear, why you just take Catholics? And you're going to have to give that up pretty soon.
I've heard that since the day I went over there.
That's right.
Literally.
That's right. And I fully understand that. And obviously, every religion deserves all the breaks in the world, and everything our kids have, they should have. Every religion. We're holding on because that's our identity.
Right.
And that's the main differentiation between us and the world out there, is the fact that we have a set of values and a set of ideals that is defined. Kids understand it. And when they leave, they can do, we can't control them, right? When they leave, they may go to Mass on Sundays. They may not go to Mass on Sundays. They may but they can't say they don't know what it is to be a Catholic.
They know the difference.
They know the difference.
Yeah,
they can't say they don't know what's right and what's wrong.
Right.
They can't say that. They know what's right and wrong. And so that we hope as they make their decisions through life and they make their choices through life, that that background, that knowledge helps them in growth and helps them in getting to where they want to get. And I know it has for me, and I know I see the people around them and around us, and I can tell you that I truly believe that the fact that we're the type of school we are, the Catholic, that we are, when you walk in, there's a hall of saints, literally. Yeah. There's no doubt where you're going. You're going to see when basketball starts again next year, that father built a chapel on
it's coming along.
It's going to be knock your socks off when it's done. Because that's what, you're going to, this is a gym. Yeah, but the gym's the only place we could have 1,400 kids in for. This
morning, as an example, St. Joseph's Day, beginning everything as we do at sea, with Mass and with prayer. All the student body, the faculty, all were in that exact space this morning for Mass, for St. Joseph's Day.
We can't have them anywhere.
There's
Nothing's
nowhere
big
else to
enough.
put them.
There's nowhere else to put them.
Nowhere else to put them.
Yes, it's a gym, but St. Joseph will be looking over it.
Yeah.
So,
So Before we close, are there any, because again, I know how passionate you are about the school, and I know we could probably speak for hours, but I want to make sure that we've touched on anything that is important to you. So is there anything we missed that you think anyone listening or watching, parents, kids, anyone should know about St. Joe's that we didn't touch upon?
I just know that I think the main thing is that we're in this together, that this is not, you take your kids and drop them off, and we take them along the path. We tell them what's right or wrong. We lead we change their thinking. We're part of the family. St. Joseph is a family, and when your kid comes, you're part of that family. But we have no doubt that's your child, and that you've blessed us with the chance to help that child for 4 years.
Right.
Goes fast, my God, it goes fast.
Yeah.
For 4 years along the way, but it's your child. That's a big difference between us and what's going on in the world today. We have the best. We're going to keep giving them the best. They'll always upgrade.
Always changing. You come in, Easter break's coming up soon. Who knows when they come back? What will be changed in the building? Only time will tell. It'll be done and what will be done.
Yeah.
So I thank you for being with us. For anyone who's watching or listening, we encourage you to subscribe to the St. Joseph by the Sea YouTube channel. Of course, if you're watching this on social media, hit that like button, hit that share button, hit that subscribe button to continue to promote all the good stuff that St. Joe's is doing. And if you have any further questions about anything going on at St. Joe's, if you want to take out a journal ad to congratulate Mr. Testaverde and his fellow honorees or any of the students of excellence at the upcoming gala being held on April 18th, the Old Bermuda Inn, you're going to visit josephc.org and you can get more information about that. And for this episode of Viking Vibes, the St. Joseph by the Sea experience, I thank you for being with us, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you, Anthony. I appreciate it.
That's a wrap.